welcome back to another Yapsu, because we gotta talk about these.
Right, so hear me out. Does this not absolutely grind your bloody gears like it does mine, right? Okay, so obviously there is a little bit of overlap. We know there's a little bit of overlap between people who like a bit of yaoi, a bit of boys love, and people who like Kamen Rider. Okay, this, you know, this is, I imagine a lot of the female audience that like Kamen Rider might enjoy a little bit of boys love. Does it not grind your gears that you're only ever getting baited? Like, can't we just have a real gay couple in Toku?
So, does it grind my gears? Yes, it does. It gets me down a lot of the time because I'm loving a relationship that they're writing lovingly, or like this bromance or this friendship. And you do get very much into it. If you are a Toku fan and a BL fan, you're just like, oh my god, I see the writing on the wall. Because there's certain things that are very BL tropes, if that makes sense, but could also be a Toku trope in general. But it's also a fact that I know as well that the main audience for this show, for Toku in general, is kids. And I know that there is always going to be this kind of like back and forth of what is, as you said in chat, quote unquote, corrupting the youths. And we talked about this earlier on, how even though we want this to be this because we are progressive in a way, we can't push our Western thoughts because we want it to be that way. I know that Japan and the people who make these shows and the people who are in charge of these companies will have a different idea to what they think is appropriate. I, however, think having a little bit of gay representation isn't a bad thing. But it's
so
yeah. But it does grind my gears. It does.
So here's my thing. I'm just fed up of like yaoi and yuri being fetishized, right? Like of course those are the fetishized names for like gay couple relationships in Japan. But like I just think what we're missing here is the idea that you could have these relationships and them just be normal. Like if people's argument is you're corrupting the youths, then like unfortunately they're bad people, because it shouldn't be corruption to show that the youth, that hey, people in society love each other regardless of gender. Yeah. And that, you know, a traditional male and female relationship versus a traditional non-heterosexual relationship shouldn't be a massive difference in society. People should just be allowed to love who they love, and that is fine. And we accept that, and people accept that, and clearly Japan has accepted that because they're making BL.
They make BL content, they make Yuri content. They make so much.
They make all this content, and like if they're only making it as fetishisms, boo. Bad. That's terrible. Don't be like, hey, we will make this for you, you little freaks. But then be like, hey, cool. Also, you know, these relationships are actually taboo and they're wrong and you shouldn't be in them. Like,
there is a
no,
juxtaposition
you can't
to it.
Play it both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it really grinds my gears. I don't think that like it needs to be a major plot point. I don't think that gay relationships need to be something that is focused on as a plot point within the show. I just think it's okay. Like if you're going to do relationships, like we've got as the background as this TokuYapsu, there are so many relationships in Kamen Rider Kiva. People date, people have children with each other in that show. It's not like you can argue that they just don't date in Kamen Rider, so it shouldn't be an issue that they date people of the same gender. If your issue is that they date people of the same gender, you're unfortunately homophobic. Yeah. If you think that kids shouldn't be able to learn about people
that exist,
dating that are the same gender, then you're homophobic. This is reality, not some weird fetish. People are gay in real life. And if that's an issue for you, or if it's an issue for you for your kids, then I'm sorry, but you're still homophobic. And it grinds my gears that you're willing to fetishize Tokyo TV and just be like, hey, cool, we'll put out this BL and you little freakies will love it. But just a normal relationship between a man and a man, or a woman or some sort of non-binary figure does not happen in any of these shows, because they're just not willing to do it outside of fetishism, which is it's such a gross thing for you to just be like, this is a sexual fetishy thing, and no, you're not allowed to just be gay. Ugh. Weird.
Can I point something out also here?
Yeah.
I mentioned Thailand earlier on because I watch a lot of Thai BLs and Japanese BLs and Chinese BLs. I watch a lot of Asian BLs, basically, okay? Yes, I do that. It's okay. It's reality. It's cool. It's good. Anyway, but specifically, what's so interesting is that in Thailand, they legalized same-sex marriages January 23rd, 2025. So it's like a recent thing.
Yeah.
But BLs in Thailand have been a thing for many, many years. So they've actually made that step, which is so good. But I don't think in Japan they've done that. No, it's not. Okay. It's not legal in Japan yet. Which is so...
to marry, no, yet. Still not.
Which is crazy. And in other countries, they're trying to take away that, which, again, is crazy. But...
Yeah. But this is the thing, like, there's no national recognition of same-sex marriages in Japan. Like, you can't get legally married, basically, there. But there is also nothing in Japan that has made same-sex relations illegal either, right?
Yeah.
Like, it is one of those things where they're like, you can be in a relationship, but you can't be married. And that's another one of those weird things of like, hey, we're okay with this, but we're not okay with this. And it's so weird.
There's, I saw a TikTok about, I saw a TikTok about this kind of thing about like, there being gay relationships in modern media or just general media at the moment. And there was someone complaining about how much gay media there is these days, and they're just shoving it down our throats, like being really aggressive. And then someone did it like it was a crazy thing. Someone did what is it called? They did like a clip of it and said, the fact that you are so upset that there's gay media now is crazy, because it's just representing what is real, what is actually around. And you are so upset when you see a movie that has it, or like something there, but it's real. It's like crazy that it hasn't happened before. I had a point and now it's gone. But like, the fact that they don't complain that there's too much straight in these things either, I'm just like, there's so much of it everywhere. And it's the same with like when people complain to me about why I want to see a female Kamen Rider. But it's like, I'm not allowed to be upset that there's no Kamen Rider females in Gav. But they're like, well, you had one last season. Like, you should be, like, that should be enough. And I'm like, no, it's not. I want to see myself represented in media. Is that bad? And I think it's the same with LGBTQ people being able to see themselves represented in shows that prove to themselves that they are okay, that they are not weird. Like, it's crazy for these people to be so upset with the one bit of gay media in thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon movies that are just straight. And I'm just like, to have one character or to have one thing in one show, it's crazy.
No gay in my Toku, thank you very much. I think it's
Power
very
Rangers is gay? There you go.
Yeah, this is what I was gonna say. I think it's very wild for the progression of like Power Rangers to include a gay relationship and for that to be like one of the things that they do on the lasting point. And then for like Toku, who is like actively being like, hey, when they're like stripping away their Super Sentai brand because they gave too much of it away to Power Rangers, and they're like, hey, we need to do what Power Rangers did. We need to take our shows and westernize them enough so they're popular in these territories so we can make more money. They admit that Power Rangers has done some stuff that they were unable to do with their own brand.
Yeah.
And like doing something like a gay relationship is just going to increase inclusivity. It's not going to decrease it, in the same way that I think like there should be a first rider that's female. You know what I mean? Like starting a show with the rider being the first rider, the only rider for a couple of episodes, and it's a female, and we start that show with that. Like that, just statistically, how that has not happened in over 50 years. What do you mean? What do you mean statistically there's never been a female first? Like you can't tell me that that's a real like look at real life. These powers are given randomly most of the time. These people are orphans, or they find the power on the street, or they're part of some weird blood lineage, or there's just and every time it's a man, and every time it's a straight man, like statistically, if you want to keep in with realism at some point, it might not be.
Yeah. It's too much risk. Riders don't take risk because sales are high. I get that. The thing is, okay, let's remember that Kamen Rider is a kid show for one, but also is a show that is highly dependent on income. Hence why Power Rangers is hence why Sentai is ending, because their toy sales have been so damn low. And actually seeing the graph makes it so much more like, oh shit, yeah, this is they've lost sales since the selling of Power Rangers, or the divide.
Yeah, they lost a shit ton of their market share to
it's crazy.
Power Rangers.
But like I don't know. It's hard to just justify toy sales, but that's what they do.
But saying it's like a risk, and like from a market point of view, I completely agree. Like it is from a marketing point of view, and it is for a risk to take. But surely they're taking risks a lot of the time. Like right now, they're taking a risk in putting Zets on TokuYapsu for the rest of the world. Okay, and they're hoping that risk pays off, to take more toy sales, to add more inclusivity, to add more representation, to add more people into the fandom of Kamen Rider so they can sell more toys. Now, we understand that there's a kid show. Are we saying there's no kids with gay parents? Because I don't think that's true.
No, sure
and
not.
and I do think at some point you have to just open your property to the realism of the world. Like, fine, if this was still a thing in a world where this is like a very big minority of people that experience gay life as a part of their own life, experience people in their life that are homosexual, or people in their life that have a differing sexuality to them, then I could sort of understand how they're like, oh, this is only a subsect. But this shouldn't be this thing that is so different, that is such a big risk. I am so sure that at least every person in Japan, or every person who works for TV Tokyo, and every person watching these shows knows at least one person of a differing sexuality to them in their life. Do you know what I mean? And if they don't, they're homophobes. And if they're fucking homophobes, why do you care about their toy sale? Because that's not the market audience you want. You want the world. You don't want the closed-minded. Yeah. Like, if you're going to say there's more homophobes than there isn't homophobes in the world, then we've got a pretty fucked up world. But I don't think that's the case, and I believe in humans. So let's market to the people who aren't homophobic rather than the people that are.
Yeah. But like, going back to the main question about the rage baiting of the queer baiting. Sorry. It's so strange though when you think about it, because we've had several times where they've rage baited keep saying rage baited, where they've queer baited us as a fandom. Like, all the way back in Cougar, he was in a BL. The actor of Cougar was actively in a BL at that time, or just after or just before. And they realized that the fandom of Cougar also had a little mix of female, like women who had a fandom or like an interest in BL. So when that show came out where he was a BL actor, there was some growth in views, I'm sure. And that is why they do sort of queerbait for that sort of audience, because they know that there is a certain amount of people in the fandom who watch the show that are fujoshis, or I can't remember the male one, fudanshis, there we go. And that is why they queerbait though. It's to get that fan base more involved. And you could say it's the show is for kids, but you have the queerbaiting or the romance for the women, for the mums of the house. And then you've got the, as I've said in my other skirt video, you've got the legs on show of young women for the dads, which every single time I say that, I hate. But that is probably the reality, because they did that in Western media too. You have the pretty girl on the TV and the dad is happy for the night. Like, I hate to say it, my own granddad loves watching the weather because of the pretty girl on the TV. And I have to walk away. I have to leave. Because, like, no, it's genuinely something that happens. He asks actively for the weather to be turned on at a certain time in the day because he gets to see the pretty girl on the TV. And I hate it. I genuinely walk out the room if I'm there. And I think that point has just been made so much more clearer because of my own personal experience with my granddad, who actively does this. And I think that's just made it so much clearer. But
yeah, I was just gonna say something to like to not wrap us up, but like wrap a bow around what I was saying before.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Doug's just said there, money is money, regardless of the purchaser's belief. Corporations only care about the bottom line. My argument isn't that my argument isn't that they're stupid for thinking about the bottom line. Every business needs to run profitability. I think they're stupid because I think the decisions they're making do not affect their bottom line long term positively. I think in being a show that is right now in 2026 actively fighting against progression, actively fighting against the real life world, when we all move past this and when we all move on, will it be too late for Kamen Rider? Will it be too late for Tokusatsu to then catch on and be like, cool, well, we've got gay characters now? Or will they already have the stigma of, no, this was the show that refused to integrate real life society into their show? Because right now, we're in 2026. We've never had a first female Kamen Rider. We've had women be very, very like underutilized in the Toku shows, which is, whatever. If you want to say it's a boys action show, fine. But, there is, like, they wouldn't be queer baiting if there wasn't a female audience. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna, say those things about those things, there is a much larger audience of people who are okay with all the things that are natural and existing in the real world that can just say, yeah, I like this show too now. I wasn't interested before, but then an actor or an actress that I liked was in it. I found out they were in this sort of relationship. That relationship looks like my relationship in real life, or my mum and dad's relationship, or my mum and mum's relationship.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool, so I stuck with the show. I watched the next season. I became a purchaser of all the toys, and I became a lifelong fan. You do not get the toy sales that they get from just like random toy sales. You get the toy sales they get through lifelong devoted fans. That is why there is a DX edition and a memorial edition for these toys, because they know people are diehard and they will spend their money. They have one of the most loyal, like, recurring communities. If you think it's just like Power Rangers where kids come in and they grow out of it, you have the wrong idea of Toku. That is not what happens in the real world of Toku. People stick with the show. They might not watch every season, but they will watch the seasons that interest them. And guess what? They might grow up to figure out their sexuality, and they might come back to Toku because they realized, hey, my sexuality is represented in this season. Let's give that one a go. I think they're losing money by not doing this. I don't think that they're gaining money by pushing the real world away. I think long term, they need to catch up with modern times, or otherwise they're going to leave money on the table and a market share that really won't care about them in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, can I actually add something to that?
100%.
I just thought about this when you were saying that. Maybe the queer baiting is a precursor for the start of it. Because I know, like, Super Sentai haven't really done that. They did it a little bit with Dom Brothers, with Sunoi and Momotaro. They full on kind of made them into, like, soul. Oh my god, what's the word?
Oh, soulmates.
Soulmates.
Yeah.
They full on made them into soulmates who wanted to have this battle, but they were very loving about it. And there were songs that were like...
Was that the ones that kissed in the stage?
No, that wasn't even that. That was Lupat. Lupin Ranger,
right.
Pat Ranger, that did it in the last version of their stage show where they made a bet to kiss on stage, and the Silver Ranger said, I bet you can't do that.
Right.
I will pay if you guys can do that. And then they did it on literally the last moment. They kissed on stage and ran off, and Silver had to, like, just stand there and be like... Okay.
Well.
But I don't think it wasn't written. It wasn't meant to be. It was just kind of something that they did because people shipped their characters so hard because that romance there was crazy. However, in the last couple seasons, I don't think we've had that much anymore. However, with Kamen Rider, it's actually gotten a bit more queerbaity, especially with Gav and Revice. But maybe that is them testing the things, seeing if they can. Because I remember...
I don't know, I feel like there was a lot of queer baiting in Kiva and they didn't make a big change after that.
I think that was more of a bromance. There is a difference between bromance and BL. I didn't really think it was.
All right, well, maybe that's just my preference. Maybe I wanted Jiro no Toya to be...
Oh, no, I wanted that. But I think they genuinely wrote those as, like, a fun bromance between the two. There is some romance in that, but it's like a romance between the bros. Meaning that they won't actually be gay. However, Domamotaro, Sunoi, definitely gay. Honto and Shoma, definitely gay. I think they actually got too close to comfort for that, actually, because I remember they literally did a interview on stage where they were talking about their characters, and Honto and Shoma kind of said, oh no, it was Sachika even said this, being like, oh, I don't feel like I'm the damsel. I'm not the damsel in distress. I'm just the boss in this, because Honto is the damsel.
Yeah, he is the damsel in distress.
And both Honto and Shoma, they're actors, Honto and Shoma's actors. I think one of them accidentally called Honto the boyfriend. Accidentally. Because that's how they were written. And there's a moment in that clip I remember where they kind of went, oh no, not boyfriend. Or no, not lover. But like, Honto best female writer. But yeah, they were definitely testing things because they finally had a female writer being a secondary in Gotchard. The writing was a little bit weird in Gotchard. They tried it with Gav and with Honto and Shoma, where they kind of hinted at it, writing it more in a bit of a BL way. But then, because people were so shipping them, I think they went, oh shit, we've actually made too much, and they wrote it back. They like pulled it back for the second half of the season. Because the feeling of their relationship after the second half of the season is definitely different. And then
Yeah.
with Revice, we had the sister and what was it? Jan and Aguilera. That was it. Where I'm saying this again for the video, but it was specifically they had on LGBT Day or like Pride, they were like Happy Pride, and it was those two hugging or those two being together, and it was kind of like hinting that these two women were being represented more as a loving couple. And then a couple months later, they were just like, family. Yes, family.
Yeah,
not
family.
friend or not a lover friend, but more family. So I think they definitely try and test it out, see what the reaction is with people. So yeah.
I think that's. I was just gonna say I think that's a good. Because we'll talk all day.
Yeah, we'll talk all day. We need to stop it
here. Just like wrap it. So I think the question is, I would like to hear people in chat, and I would like to hear people in the comments below on this TokuYapsu episode tell us, how long do you think we're going to get baited before they bite? And how long do you think it will be until we have an openly gay character who is a main character as well? I don't want side characters. A main openly gay character who is in a normal open gay relationship with their, with their counterpart. And do you think it's coming anytime soon? Do you think Toku will be one of those shows that gets the stigma for, like Kamen Riders getting the stigma for just being behind the times and sort of just being this like weird action flash boys thing? Or do you think they'll speed up with the times? Because again, we've discussed here, they seem to be trialing things every now and then.
Yeah.
But we don't want to be baited forever.
No. In other words, to answer the question, have I had enough of the queer baiting? Yes, the fuck I have! Get that off my screen! No, give me more! Give me more! But like, goddamn, make up your mind.
Give me more, but then just a little bit closer, a little bit closer.
And piss! Oh my god, let's just be honest. Shoma being thrown on the table by Hanto, that was going to be a kiss. If it was a toxic BL.
If it was a toxic BL.
That was
I think that's been everything from me. Last words from Kezza.
Give me more, and more.
Sounded like a dark grease line. Last words from me. Lots of opinions from a straight white male today, isn't there?
The male ego, kind of crazy.
The male ego. Anyway, guys, stay safe. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
Bye.